Ava Tabanca, Carnival Tabanca, Ava Tabanca, Riba Tabanca. What going on, good lookins? So I hope you aren't too vexed with me for this delayed episode, but I have good reason. I really do. I was knee deep in business mode preparing for a craft market in Jersey at the top of the month. And right after that, Wanderlust mode was activated and I was living my best international life on 2 islands with only a day of prep in between trips. So per usual, if you're listening to this podcast, you know that I'm about to give you some travel gems and ideas just in case you're ready to hit the friendly skies. So this is going to be a quick rundown. So I need you to get your writing utensils out because later on, we're finna talk about Trinidad and Tobago. The first stop on the itinerary was St. Thomas, U.S. Virgin Islands. Airline, Delta. Flight cost, $200.
Roughly.
No complaints with the airline except for the discontinuation of the Biscoff cookies. Don't nobody want no Cheez-Its or goldfish crackers? Yeah. Oh my God. So fun fact, you don't need a U.S. passport to visit St. Thomas, but I personally think you should bring it anyway. Just since you're crossing international waters, like I would feel naked without it. Lodging location, Sapphire Village condos via Airbnb. No complaints. Transportation. We relied on taxis while there. We called ahead and they were usually there within 5 minutes. The longest we waited was probably about 10 minutes. We did have a slight challenge booking a taxi on the last night due to the location that we chose for dinner. But we were able to flag down one taxi without a problem. Like as soon as we got out to the road, hailed it down, boom, got inside. If you so choose, renting a car is an option. I personally wouldn't feel comfortable driving around in St. Thomas only because it's filled with hills and very unique roads. Driving there honestly reminded me of being in Dominica, which is another place that I have no interest in getting behind a steering wheel. Now, I normally only rent vehicles after I've visited the country or the island at least once and get an opportunity to scope out the land, but that's just me. Recommended activities. Take the ferry to St. John and visit the beaches. Just spend the day in St. John. If you have time, maybe one day head on over to St. Croix as well. And Tortola is there. Shout out to my father's posse because that is where he hails from. So while Tortola is in reach, the ferry there has been suspended due to the fact that it is a British territory and would be considered an international trip. So because of COVID, that's no longer a thing from St. Thomas to Tortola. Recommended restaurants in St. Thomas. So Sunset Grill, spelled with an E at the end, was my favorite dining experience. Please make a reservation before you go and let the attendant know that your reservation is for the inside, not the patio. The check-in process there was very entertaining. It was also very uninformative, and I'll give them a bly because the person working it was her first day or she was new, right? And so I was like, you know what? Let me not be too critical. But anyway, thankfully, the food and the service once inside completely made up for it. I also recommend adding Duffy's Love Shack to your list, add Denton's to your list. If you go to Duffy's Love Shack, please skip the conch fritters. And I've said this, y'all saw my IG rant. Well, some of you may have, but if it ain't Bahamas, if it ain't Turks and Caicos or my house, please leave it alone. I said what I said. Thank me later. And then COVID precautions. Negative COVID-19 results plus the completion of the St. Thomas entry form is required prior to travel. Once you deplane, they check your temperature and review your documentation before allowing you into the actual airport. And then for return, since St. Thomas is a U.S. territory, no testing was required to get back into the States. And they actually had us go through customs in St. Thomas, which was actually pretty nice. So that was landing in JFK and just being able to go outside. Best. Next up, Aruba. Airline JetBlue. Flight costs less than $200. Now, please note, these prices are based on dates of booking. Don't go looking for a cheap flight 2 days before you want to travel and then get vexed with me because I, quote unquote, got your hopes up. That's not how this works. Okay. Lodging location, a private house in Nord Aruba via Airbnb. Transportation. So since we were rolling a little deep, we opted to rent a van. And unlike St. Thomas, Aruba was pretty flat and easy to navigate. And yes, GPS did work with both on both islands. Recommended activities. Visit all the beaches. I only went to Baby Beach, but the crew went to some others. And I also hear that Flamingo Beach is lovely as well. Recommended restaurants, Rum Reef Cocktail Bar and Grill, Douchey's Bagels and Burgers, and Flying Fishbone. Please go to Flying Fishbone. Like St. Thomas's Sunset Grill, Flying Fishbone is a little up there with the prices, so I probably give it $3 signs. So just kind of be prepared. Look at the menu, look at the prices before you go, but I definitely recommend it for both of those for a fine dining experience. A warning about COVID precautions, right? So going to Aruba, you had to fill out an ED card and get insurance. The insurance is about $30. And you also, of course, had to take a COVID test. Aruba does not allow for, at least at this time, they do not allow for antigen tests. You can only take a PCR, and that needs to be ready and uploaded when you fill out your ED card. Or if you are unable to get tested before you travel to Aruba, you can get tested at the airport. That is what I did, because since there was only 1 day in between me being in St. Thomas and then going to Aruba, I didn't have time to, I wouldn't have gotten my COVID test back in time to check in or to arrive at Aruba. So they allowed me to take the test there. It was a smooth process. Like, they got it down. Okay. There was no confusion. The signage was on point. Y'all know I love signage. Signage was on point. It was just an easy breezy process, and their attendants and all the people that I encountered were very pleasant and knew what they were doing. So I respected that. On the way out, the security process leaving Aruba was heavy on the checkpoints. So I recommend keeping your passport and your ticket in hand for at least 15 minutes after you go through security, because you're going to interact with more agents. You're going to go through security yet again. And you're going to have to do the whole take your shoes off, take the laptop out thing. That happened twice for me. And then just like in St. Thomas, U.S. Customs happened while in Aruba. I don't know if that's a new thing. I don't know if it's just because of the airline or because we were flying into or because I was flying into JFK. So I don't know why, if that's the case for all flights, but that's what happened for me. So once I landed in New York, I just headed straight out to hail my Uber and make my way home. All in all, it was the best 2 weeks. It was very, very nice. And I don't have any complaints about either trip. I am going to keep still for a while. Y'all don't have to worry about me coming up here with any more updates or you stalking my IG and feeling away because I'm at somebody's beach or poolside in nice weather. But yeah, I'm going to keep still for a little bit, but I'll be back. Welcome to Trinidad and Tobago. The year was 2015, and this seasoned carnival vet had just turned 32 years old and was headed to earning the ultimate badge of carnival honor, the Trinidad Carnival medallion. I signed up for the whole shebang, a 2-week tour consisting of 13 fetes, 2 full Yuma Road experiences, and 0 tourist activities. As a Trinidad Carnival newbie, I knew I had to do a deep dive into the carnival chats. So MOA, what's fetch you going, whatever chat was around, I was in it. I was in there soaking up all the gems. Now, in this moment, I don't believe purchasing tickets was too much of a hassle back then. I could be wrong. I don't remember it to be. As far as costumes went, I chose the cheapest Yuma costume for about $900. And I'm pretty sure that that was probably my most expensive investment that year. But well worth it, especially when considering everything that's included. It's not just about the costume, you see. You're also paying for a respectable goodie bag, 2 days of food and snacks on the road, prime security, top DJs and artists, right, performing on the road, unlimited drinks, lush wee-wee trucks, and hopefully quality service. It was a very weird and semi-lonesome inaugural Trinidad experience for me. Because prior to the trip, a couple of months before, I had changed relationship dynamics with the person that I was traveling with, and they weren't too thrilled about the decision. Nonetheless, neither one of us was about to cancel their carnival plans due to a change in dynamic. You must be mad. If you know we're going to Trinidad Carnival, you already know that, I'm sorry, whatever I pay for is still happening. So 2015 was the year that Lyrical dropped Lona. And boy, was that the perfect theme song for me on that trip. Finding transportation by myself, using my resources, and just testing my comfort level as a solo fetter. That trip definitely boosted my self-esteem and solo travel confidence. Now, I've been back to Trinidad nearly every year since, in some capacity. I think there was only 1 year that I missed. And now that I'm a seasoned Trinidad Carnival vet, I modify my experience a little bit, and I'm happy to share those modifications with you towards the end of this episode. But I really want to get into the topic a little more. So we're officially a year into this pandemic at the time of this recording. It is the end of March. And so a lot of things have changed. The Caribbean carnival scene has definitely changed. Trinidad's borders have been closed for a minute and locked up tight, I might add. So, they're not allowing anyone in there. And as of last month in February would have been the weekend, I believe, or the Monday, Tuesday, the 15th, 16th would have been Trinidad Carnival. And a lot of people were experiencing Carnival Tabanca, hence the start of this series. So we're going to speak with Ron of LPTS, and he will share with you. I call him the King of Connections. And we're going to talk about Trinidad Carnivals of past, the future, and just try to relive in those moments and look forward to the carnivals to come.
So this is the spot where the episode could be sponsored by you. For as low as $10 USD, you can have your event, ad, or product mentioned here. Yeah, right here. Visit www.tingsnice.com for details.
So we are going to begin by having you introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, what you do, all that jazz, whatever you're willing to share.
Okay. So my name is Ronald Victor. I am the CEO and founder of Limin Professionals, the Syndicate, more formally known as LPTS, as you can see. My day job is I'm an engineering program manager at Cisco. So what we do is basically manage change management projects, product implementation projects, those type of things. Come up with new and exciting, innovative products that we can then sell to the customer. So I manage those teams that are the brains behind the products that Cisco eventually sells, and the teams that also maintain those products.
Got it. That sounds fancy. So so I know where you're from, but for everybody listening, tell them where you hail from, which island is your home, because I know that they hear this accent and they're wondering.
I'm originally from Trinidad and Tobago. Woo-hoo. In the Southland, deep South, we call it.
Oh, you're a South man.
Vance River, right after you pass Labre, before you get to Point Fortin. Mm-hmm. It's that little small 5-street town in between those places.
Got it. Thank you.
Where everybody knows everybody, and you'll probably be related to everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know that life. I know that life too well. Well, not from Trinidad, but from a Turks and Caicos perspective, that island is real small.
Yeah.
Well, country rather. Mm-hmm. So I normally had a little warm-up segment, but I think I'm going to switch it. I'm going to do the rapid fire game first.
Okay.
So it's basically, I'm just going to throw basically like a this or that out there, and you choose one within a couple of seconds, right? The one that comes to mind first.
Okay.
So first, iPhone or Android?
iPhone all the way. There's no choice there.
I don't know about that. All right. Favorite soca artist that does not hail from Trinidad and Tobago?
I would have to say Skinny Fabulous. He's very diverse with his offerings.
I like that option. And is it possible to love Carnival and not love soca music?
Impossible. Carnival is soca. Soca is Carnival.
I had a debate with somebody this morning, and they were like, "No, it's possible. There are people who go to Carnival and they don't like soca." I'm like, "Yep, that's
not Trinidad Carnival. Then they're talking about probably Jamaica or one of them, islands, or probably like Canada, where they play more diverse music."
Yeah. I agree.
People get in trouble for playing anything but soca on the road for Carnival.
Facts. And then last one, call or text?
It depends. I'm a multitasker. So I could be on this call with you right now and handling 3 other pieces of business, and you don't even know. So in that sense, I would be using text.
Okay.
If it's something that I need an immediate answer on, I need to talk through what I'm asking about and make sure it's clear what I'm communicating, call is better.
Okay. Got it. The both.
Yeah.
All right. So let's start with this whole Carnival journey, so to speak. So being from Trinidad and Tobago, I feel like that's something that is just ingrained in who you are, right? There are a lot of people that I have on the show who were introduced to Carnival by somebody along the way, and it wasn't something that they grew up with. So I guess I won't ask you that specific question, but I will say, like, what do you feel are ways that Carnival has impacted your life for the better or not?
So one fun fact, the first time I ever played Mass was after I graduated from grad school.
Really?
Yeah. My parents weren't too big into Carnival, so they didn't really allow us to like play Mass on that kind of thing. But they did take us to the Oval and to the Queen's Park Savannah to watch the bands cross the stage, and we'd pack a cooler and food and that type of thing, and make a day out of it. But to participate, no, we never had the chance to. And then I left Trinidad at 17 to come to the US for college. So that entire time I was in the US, going to school, of course, you're focusing on your books, you know,
right?
Back to play Mass. So it's after grad school when I went back home to live for a while. One of my friend's mother actually coaxed me into participating for the first time in my life. And what I actually appreciated about Carnival is you get a new appreciation for the culture. You listen to the music on the radio, and you go to the concerts and all that in different countries and see your homeland people representing.
Yeah.
But it's a different vibe. It's a different feel when you're at Carnival. You really get a true appreciation for not only Trinidad culture, but the culture from your neighbors, because every single island, every single country across the world comes to Trinidad for Carnival.
Mm-hmm.
So you get to experience other Caribbean cultures as well. The other thing that has been life-changing with Carnival for me is most of my best friends and people that I could call family now, I met at Carnival. So my best friends are people that I met at Carnival. My now girlfriend, we met at Carnival. You know what I mean? The lifelong relationships that come out of Carnival are another thing that is eye-opening to me. You would think you're just going there to catch a wine and pack your life away for a week and then come back. But there are some really strong relationships and bonds that build over those 2 weeks.
Yeah, I can relate to that. Absolutely. So being that you said that your parents really weren't too big on you being in the carnival scene. So when you came out of it and you realized all of these benefits, I guess, talk to me about the evolution of LPTS. Like, when did you first get that idea to even start that?
So that's funny because the connection is something that started actually in college. I went to South Carolina State University. I was one of about 5 Trinidadians at that college when I went there in 1997. That's my age now.
I'm not too far behind, don't worry.
Yeah, so I was one of 5 Trinidadians at that college at that time. Because of our academic prowess, I would say, the president of the college actually sent the admissions counselor to Trinidad to recruit more like us. He said. He wants more of those people from Trinidad. He said it in one of his speeches. So the recruiter went to Trinidad and brought back like 60 people my second year. So that was 65 of us.
Wow.
Right? By my third year at South Carolina State University, there were 150 plus Trinidadians at the college. So what ended up happening, I give it that context because what ended up happening is after my first year, I became a student orientation leader. For those people who don't know, that's the people who can are your counselors when you start.
I was one of those.
Right. So I became that because of all the challenges I had with being oriented as an international student in a foreign country, in a small town in South Carolina. There were certain things that the SOL that I had didn't know and had to always go back and check with the admissions counselor. So because I went through that process myself, I became a student orientation leader for all the international students coming after me to be able to go through those processes a lot easier. Not knowing that the international students coming after me would be all Trinidadian.
Yeah.
So that's the main reason I got into it. So one of the things that I started doing back then was to introduce the new trainees to the old trainees to our party. So I have a welcome party for the incoming freshman trainees. And it would also turn into that long life bond, just like Carnival.
Yeah.
Like once everybody get to know each other, the other ritual that we started was the people from like sophomore year, they passed their books down to the freshmen coming in. So we started building that nice little network. Some American friends started attending those parties every year. And they got exposed to Soca and loved the heck out of it. So they always heard us talking about where Soca comes from, that you have to experience Carnival at least once in your life, and all these other things. So from that college experience, one of my friends, and you interviewed her as well, Danielle, Danielle kind of became my first ever customer. So from all those years at South Carolina State of us talking about Carnival, she said back then, she definitely will try it one of these years when she thinks she's ready, because from what we've been describing, it seems overwhelming and she's not sure she can handle it yet. So she needed a couple of years to think about it. 1 year she called me, she's like, Ron, I'm ready. So when she said that, now me and my friends were already planning to play that year. And I had to go find all her stuff. I had to go get her costume, buy her tickets, make sure she had everything that we had prepped already to go to the fetes and get to Juve and all these other things, and send her a list now of this is the things you need to pack, this is what you need to bring. So she basically became the first customer.
Wow.
Which inspired the following year now. She, of course, had a ball. She didn't miss one since then. That was 2000. We're talking about 2008 now.
Yeah.
She hasn't missed one since then. So she went back and ran her mouth to all her friends that they have to definitely experience this thing at least once in their life. So the following year, I had 6 people who were interested in coming that didn't know the ropes again. So I took it upon myself to make all the arrangements for them and all that. That's where the whole thing started.
Got it.
Yeah. And it's evolved a lot since then.
Yeah, because so now would you say that you are dealing with a lot of individuals that you don't know personally still, or are you still familiar with everyone who you're planning for?
So that's the thing about LPTS. LPTS is sticky. Once people come in and hang with us or go on a trip like Carnival, which is so intense for a whole 2 weeks, you build that camaraderie with the people around you. You start depending on those people around you because you're in a foreign country. These become the familiar faces.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps breed the community that we've kind of developed. So that's why I say it's sticky, because when people come in, it's hard to leave because you build these relationships and build this network when you come back. That's how it started evolving into different things, because people wanted to stay in contact. They wanted to continue doing events outside of Carnival so that we could see each other, party with each other, do fun stuff together. So that bred all the different pieces of the portfolio now. So that's where I started doing my birthday party annually that would bring people to New York so that everybody comes to one spot. They know in May, Ron's going to have his birthday party. That's going to be where LPTS comes to. Then it grew into the LPTS anniversary party. The year we were founded in March back in Trinidad. So I started doing an anniversary party. Then that bred into the gentleman's retreat, where we wanted to take only the fellas and go somewhere for a weekend. Of course, when we did that, the ladies got jealous.
Right.
Ladies plan one. So that became another thing. Then I started doing a foreign trip every year. That became the Global Exploration Tour. And since then, we've been to Jamaica, Dominican Republic, Barbados, Bahamas. 2 years ago, we went to Dubai. And last year, we were supposed to be in St. Lucia. But however, COVID put a damp on that. So it's just organically grown into things to keep these extraordinary people that met at Carnival connected throughout the year and doing so in a fun way. Yeah.
So I have 2 questions. The first is, we know that there are other groups out there. Maybe I have 3 questions. So how do you feel that LPTS differs from some of the other carnival groups that are present, even though there is a lot of overlap, right? Because there are people who might be in multiple things.
There is, and that's fine. Everybody has their own brand. And when I say brand, I don't just mean the name. Everybody has their own style of doing things. Everybody has their own niche, their own network. The offers might be offering the same product, as in getting into Yuma, but the vibe of the crew might be different. Not everybody suits every vibe. You know? So every crew has its vibe. People fall in where they feel most comfortable, and that's fine. I'm good friends with some of the other crews and the leaders of those crews.
I think for me, when I think of LPTS. I mean, it's in your name, right? Limin Professionals. I think you guys have a very mature brand, but at the same time, like, I know y'all could get down, you know? There's a real professional vibe here. So I think you guys are it's named appropriately.
That's where the name actually came from. So when I was thinking about the name, right, the first thing I did was look at the network and see what kind of people it attracts.
Mm-hmm.
And this started back in Trinidad. It's like this group was like, a snowball rolling from the top of the mountain and just picking up people as it goes along. That's how LPTS started. It was a certain vibe that attracted people with the same type of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
But when you looked at who made up the crew, it was people who ran accounting firms. It was lawyers. It was doctors. It was people who ran their own business. It was general managers. It was this one who is the regional director for some big brand that we were always buying products from. And I was like, wait, this is the kind of people we are attracting for the type of things that we do, like all these parties we go into and all this. And it was an organic type of attraction. So that's where the professional part came from. And it was from all the limes that we were going to. And we liked doing the same things. It wasn't just partying.
Mm-hmm.
Like the syndicate part of the name is for all the other things that you don't see, but that we do. For example, we used to volunteer. We had a crew that went to a home for abused girls. And we went and spent the day with them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them had birthdays. We took birthday cakes. We made it into a party. We played games with them for the day. And we took them like extra clothes and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because the home was funded by charity. So we did that. Then because we did that for the girls, another time we went and spent the day with a home for boys living with AIDS. So again, it is those type of things that you don't really see. Mm-hmm. That we also do, and we are all passionate about, that the syndicate part of the name came from. Yeah. We like Limin, we're all professionals, but you don't see everything.
Yeah.
So if you put that together, that's how the name came out.
I like it. All right. So I've had my experiences with planning group things, especially for people who are not familiar with Carnival, and the end result is always great, right? But going through the process can be very daunting. And so I want to hear from you about a couple of your highs and lows of event planning, especially towards the time where you started doing it for a larger number of people. I guess, which pieces do you not really care for at times?
The pieces that you don't really care. The herding of the cattle. Is the worst part of the trip. Like, I love everything else about planning the trip and executing it, but you see the part where you have to get everybody on the bus.
Yes.
Go into the fete is easy, because if you get left, and people know my rule, you have 15 minutes before we leave to get to the lobby. If you're not there by the time I reach, because I walk up to the lobby 2 minutes before we have to leave. So everybody's supposed to be there before me. If I walk to the lobby, I'm the last person. I have the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
When I get to the lobby, I distribute the tickets because people will leave it in their room.
Yeah.
Distribute the tickets, everybody board the bus. Once that bus takes off and you're not on it, you find your way to the party.
Mm-hmm.
I have your ticket in my pocket. There's hotel taxis outside. But coming back is the problem, because now you're in a fete with 2,000 other people who walking around that fete to go and find everybody.
Lord.
So we had to come up with different little strategies to figure that out. That was one of my worst parts of the trip. That first year, when we really went large scale, I had 85 people, and that actually sealed my cap. I was like, 85 is the most I'm ever
the
doing.
max.
So we had 85 people that year, and trying to get everybody herded back onto the bus, because I think we also had a couple events on the same day.
Mm-hmm.
So if we don't get everybody back on the bus, back to the hotel to change and head to the other venue, some people going to start a fuss because I pay my money to do pets. Why are we still waiting on them? And that's actually what happened. I tried to wait on people, and the people on the bus started. They got irritated.
But then you get cussed by the people who you left as well, or no, not so much.
You're getting cussed both ways. Both ways. So I learned a valuable lesson that first year with the herd and cattle piece of it. So from the next event, what I did was we specified a meeting location in the fete at a certain time. If you're not there, you're responsible for getting yourself home.
Yes.
I instituted the Vex money policy.
Yes.
Carry your Vex money to the fete. If you
Always.
get there, you have money to get home. Because if you're not paying attention to the rules, these people have paid their money to stick to a schedule to make sure they maximize the value of their package. That is the concept we roll with from now on.
Yeah.
And it happened. It's like people got left at the hotel with us going to the fete. They took a taxi and met us there. They call me when they reach outside, I bring the ticket. People got left in the fete. Some intentionally, but some who didn't pay attention to time and where they need to be and that kind of thing. And they found their way back to the hotel.
Yeah.
So we fixed that problem.
Do you find that, I mean, I don't know if you consume alcohol or not, but do you find that you have to stay fairly sober when doing these things, or do you?
Yes.
Okay.
At the end of the day, you're a business. And you have to be always aware and ready to act in the event when your customers isn't happy.
Yeah.
So I do drink, but I know my limit. And when I get that nice little buzz, it's time to stop. Because again, now I have to get all these people back to the hotel safely or to the next venue safely. So yeah, it's a responsibility thing.
Yeah, I hear that. So what's your favorite part about it? Is it the same as just the connection and having everybody together, or is there another favorite part that you have?
There's a couple of favorite parts. The first favorite part is when everybody meets for the first time. That's when they check into the hotel that day. That's the first time they actually get to see each other in person. And some people meet me for the first time.
Yeah.
When they're checking into the hotel. So they paying this person all this money whole year. Don't know they kind of know what I look like, because one thing I do is I expose myself once you sign up to a package with me. I give you all my social media. I want you to get comfortable with me.
Yeah.
And the way I do things, the way I communicate, who the people around me are before you get there. Because those packages are expensive. You don't want to know you're paying somebody and you have no idea who he is or what he's about. The great thing about my packages is it's all sold by word of mouth. So it's people who've gone with me before that went and told their friends that you have to go this way. And those are the people that I mostly sell the packages to. So they already have some type of trust by the time they come to me. But me knowing myself, I want you to have trust in me, not through somebody.
Correct.
So I expose my social media, my pages, my LinkedIn, so they can go check me out. Some of them do some thorough checks on their own and come back telling me things about myself.
Right.
So that's all fine, because I know you're going to be paying me for 12 months without meeting me. I want you to be comfortable, and I want you to be comfortable in the product that I'm offering as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds nice. I mean, I've heard some horror stories, but hopefully you do not have any of those. I don't believe that you
heard them as well.
This past weekend would have been, the core weekend for Trinidad Carnival 2021. Clearly, we know that did not happen. If you have to choose, what are and I don't know what type of fete you are, right? But what are your top 3 Trinidad Carnival fetes?
Although I do the offering of the packages and manage the packages while I'm there, I do everything that's on my package. So I am there with them at all parties on the road for Juve. I do more than them, because when they're in the room sleeping, I organize them for the next day, for the next event. The party that really rose to the top of my rank, because of its all-inclusiveness, it has, I know it's not all-inclusive, but they really thought of every single thing.
Yeah.
From the leading outside to managing the traffic coming in and out, then you to the front door. From the minute you walk in, how you're greeted, you get these brand paraphernalia, you get the most options for food in a fete that I've seen. And then on top of that, once you finish eat and drink and get to the dance floor, their vibe just skyrockets.
Yeah.
Beach house.
Okay. I was like, I think it's beach house.
I don't think anybody could beach house from end to end in terms of service, quality, vibes. Because that's what my crew looks for, the vibes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we go where we can be ourselves and meet people who are like-minded, have that same energy. We feed off of that.
Okay.
Beach house is number one. Close second, Soca Brainwash.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Although it had a couple of years it started. You know what I mean? But it went back up there when they changed the venue. I think it was because it was getting too big for the old venue.
Yeah.
But now that they've changed the venue and they have this massive spread now that they can do all these different layouts, and they have 2 and 3 DJs playing different type of music, and they have a whole Ciroc bar over here and all these other things. It made it more conducive to easy access to the things that you want.
Yeah.
Looking for. So Soca Brainwash is close second. And I had a big up Yuma. So Yuma Neon.
Okay.
They have to get ready for that one. That's the week before we usually get there.
Got it. I was like, I don't know that one. I don't think I've ever been to that.
Yeah, you have to come in like the weekend before Carnival week to get to that one.
Got it. All right, y'all. You heard his top 3 recommendations. Beach house, I knew was going to be on there. Soca Brainwash, I kind of figured was going to be on there too. I actually thought you were going to say Veil for one of them. A lot of people, I don't know, tend to like Veil. Wasn't my top.
My crew does.
Neon is all inclusive?
Neon is a drinks inclusive.
Okay. So what do you feel is going to happen in the future? I don't know if you have like an inside scoop, but what do you think Carnival is going to look like in the future? When do you think we'll see another Trinidad Carnival for real, where the borders are open?
I don't see another Carnival, honestly. In my opinion, I don't see another Trinidad Carnival happening until at least 2023. I think next year we'll be pushing it. And these are the reasons why. One, look at how much people are not adhering to the policies, not wearing masks. I saw there was a Miami Carnival weekend down in Miami. And it was packed.
Yeah.
Hardly anybody wearing masks. All these other things. So you have people not adhere to the policies. So it's going to continuously keep spreading. You have people reluctant to take the vaccine. As one way we would get out of it. The most people, I think Dr. Fauci was saying, if 75% or up of the population gets the vaccine, you'll start seeing the disappearance of the spread. There's no way in hell we can get into that number in the US. No way in hell.
Not this year.
So that's one thing. And this is just the US I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Think about all the other countries that have high rates of spread. The minute Trinidad opens their borders again, this whole cycle can restart. I don't think Trinidad can handle a super spreader event like we have in the US based on the population size and the facilities to deal with sick persons who have COVID. So if they open the borders too early, it's not going to be good for Trinidad.
Yeah.
And I think 2022 is pushing it. Because Carnival is a global event. People are going to come from all over. You know what I mean? So unless they put strict processes in place where you must get vaccinated and you must enter the country with your certificate of vaccination or all these other things that you have to put in place. I think 2022 might not be happening.
I don't see it happening either.
Yeah, so looking at 2023.
I hope so.
For sure.
Even then, I'm like, I'll let them do the first carnival, and then I'll go for 2024. I don't even know that I'm ready.
Yeah.
All the newbies, all the people who have not done any carnivals thus far in their life, what are some recommendations that you would have for first time carnival goers?
I'll talk to you from experiences that I've had with people who eventually went with me.
Mm-hmm.
The experiences they had before they went with me. Don't try to do it on your own. The reason that there are concierge services like me is because we grew up there. We know the people, we know the ropes, we know how to get things done, and we have relationships with most of the vendors.
Mm-hmm.
I had a group of about 6 women that they actually did sign up with me, and then they canceled like in the first month.
Mm-hmm.
But they're like, you know what? We think we can do this on our own, and we want to save some money. So we'll go ahead and do this on their own. I was like, you're sure? They're like, yeah, we have this covered, man. We've been to Carnival a bunch of times, so we know the ropes and that kind of thing. Like, okay. So wash my hands of that. Come to find out, they had a lot of issues with getting accommodation.
Mm-hmm.
It took them forever, and they ended up paying double for some of their tickets.
Yeah.
And then when my crew arrives, and for people who've gone with me, 2 weeks before arrival day, I do this to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
I'm now focused on the people who are on my packages because they are paying me for my attention as well.
Correct.
So they get 100% of it. So if you're not on my package, I can't answer your question. Sorry. Mm-hmm. So what happened is when we got to Trinidad, my crew was arriving. The same group got to Trinidad. They had booked an Airbnb, paid down on the Airbnb and everything. When they got to Trinidad, the guy took another group that gave them money. So they had nowhere to stay now.
Oh my God.
Guess who they came to?
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I had the whole of Chancellor Hotel. I don't know if you know Chancellor Hotel.
No.
Right? And if you go past Hilton, St. Anne's, it's a nice little boutique hotel.
Okay.
It's about 50 rooms. Okay. So I had the entire hotel to myself, but that's the year I had the 85 people.
Yeah.
So all my rooms were booked up. And for Carnival, Trinidad is booked up a year before.
Long time. Mm-hmm.
So that I could have done. And unfortunately, now I'm dealing with 85 people coming in. So I really had to put my blinders up. So all I could do is kind of refer them to just try checking the hotel and whatever. Turns out they actually got into another hotel that had cancellations or people who didn't arrive. But they ended up paying double the price for the rooms as well.
Of course.
So now they paid twice the amount they would have paid on my package because now they have no choice. You're in Trinidad already. You had to take what you get at this point. So I say all of that to say, if you don't know people there or the ropes, or you're really familiar with processes to get tickets and lockdown accommodation and those type of things on your own, you don't have to do it on your own. Use a professional. Second, most important thing, Carnival is your crew. Be careful who you choose to go with.
This is a fact.
This is another thing that came out of people who ended up going with me and their horror stories of who they went with the year before.
Yes.
That ruined their carnival. And they ain't doing that again, and they don't want to see those people's faces ever again. So pick your crew wisely because you will be stuck with them for 2 weeks.
That's it.
If you are also one of those caring persons and you have a person who doesn't give, you know what? You might end up being somebody's parent for those 2 weeks. Because the third point that I'm going to say is pace yourself. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. When I say pace yourself, I mean Carnival is a marathon, not a sprint.
It is not a vacation. I just want to put that out there for everybody. Oh yeah, I'm going on vacation. You are not going on vacation at all.
Work. And you will never, ever beat the bar. The bar will always win. So you go into all-inclusive thinking you're going to get your money's worth. The bar will get its money's worth because you will be under the bar, not drinking, and they get to keep their full bottle of Johnny on top of the bar. So pace yourself. You have 2 weeks. And remember, the fetting is just the warm-up to the road. You don't want to reach Sunday and you mash up and you can't even make it to the road and wear your costume. Pace yourself, elevate it a little bit Sunday, go a little bit higher for Juve, and then go all out Monday and Tuesday, and then go and rest yourself in Tobago Wednesday.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Plan your 2 weeks carefully. I've seen this as well. And I say the same disclaimer to my group when everybody arrives. I make a nice little horseshoe around me and I give this talk before every fete. Please pace yourself. Number one, we are not here to babysit you. Everybody's an adult. So what you do in that fete is on you. If you go too hard, the bus is not going to be back for 5-6 hours. And ain't nobody here paid to tote you around a fete. You drunk. It's like, so that's the first thing. And you have to be responsible. People still, there's always one person who don't listen. The one person who think you can't tell me what to do. That's the one who's been throwing up at the side of the bus while the bus driving and is vomit on the whole side of the bus. Because now you have to keep your head outside because the driver don't want you to mess up his bus. That's the one who has to sit down on the first day of the road because they can't make, because they went too hard in the fetes. Or you miss a whole day of mass.
Wasting
and Monday
money.
is where the vibes are.
Yeah.
I know, I don't care what anybody said. Monday, when you don't have your full costume on and you're following them big trucks and you find your truck with the right DJ, that Monday vibes will be off the chain.
Monday is
Especially
very
coming
nice.
from Juve, you already up 2 o'clock in the morning, ready to go. Monday is vibes. So you don't want to go too hard during the weekend, during the fetes. And then you can't make the road Monday.
Yeah. Please listen to Ron, you guys. Out of curiosity, how many events are on your agenda? And like, do you have different packages, or what you offer is it for everybody? Like, y'all are all going to the same thing no matter what?
I have different packages so that we went through different combinations. So I actually had a package one year called the Amped Tour. Listen to the name, Amped. That year, I kind of defied my own policy about pacing. So we went to 8 fetes that year. So we arrived Carnival Wednesday. You're talking about Wednesday to Sunday at 8 fetes, right?
Yeah.
No, actually, wait. We arrived early that year because we went to Marshall Monday as well. So we started so the different packages were the people who were the most amped.
Yeah.
They came in the week before Carnival, the weekend before Carnival. So that we went to Neon. So Neon was the Saturday before. We went to Neon. We went to some fete on Sunday. Then we did Marshall Monday. So the people who came early, by the time the rest of the crew reached, we were already 3 fetes in. Wednesday, I think we went to a Tribe. And Thursday, we had 3. No, it was Thursday or Friday. Thursday, we had 2 parties. Friday, we had 3 back to back. So
y'all can't see me. I'm shaking my head.
Friday, we started with Yuma. We went to Yuma Fete from like 10 o'clock. We left at 2 to go to Caesar's Army in the bush, ambush. So we went Yuma 10 to 2. We went ambush 4 to 10. And then we went straight to Soca Brainwash.
Oh, y'all were those people.
So you could not find an LPTS person in that hotel Saturday evening.
Y'all should not have even paid for that night.
Saturday evening, everybody knocked the heck out in their rooms. People didn't come out to eat. Because we went 24 hours straight.
Wow.
24 hours straight of fetting from Friday to Saturday. And then Sunday, we had to get up for breakfast party. So we reached back from Soca Brainwash probably like, 9? Because Brainwash, they say it finished in 6, but it's finished 9.
Yeah.
But I think that year it finished 8. So we got back to the hotel by 9 o'clock. And then you couldn't find any of us. Because Now you had to get up 2 o'clock in the morning to go to a breakfast party in the morning for Sunday. After that, you saw nobody again. Because we went hard at that. But I think that's the year we did Sunny Side Up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did Sunny Side Up that morning. And Sunny Side Up was vibes when Blacks and them come on in the end and go straight to 1 o'clock. Vibes. So we didn't get back to the hotel till 12 because leaving Diego Martin is hell traffic-wise. So people took that whole afternoon now to prep because people understand from Sunday's your last day to rest. From Sunday night straight to Wednesday, you're going nonstop with no sleep.
Yeah.
So that package was the hardest package I've ever put together. And I named it AMP for that reason. 8 fetes in 2 weeks, plus Juve, plus the road, plus Tobago. I actually got somebody, I do reviews after every package.
Yeah.
So I get feedback from everybody and incorporate those things in the next one. People commented, yeah, Ron, love that we graduated from that one, but yeah, we don't need to do more than one a day.
We made it. Let it be the last.
So that class was like a graduating class of the most exhilarating package I've ever put together. And they're like, never do that to us again. Please.
Oh my God. You hazed them. That's basically what it was.
So now, because we're a little bit older, the package comes with one fet per day.
Okay.
People can add whatever they want and do whatever they want on top of it. But yes, that's what LPTS does.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I've graduated from the fete after fete after fete thing, and now I'm just like, I'm only doing one a day, and it may not even be every day. That's really just how I've decided, because my bones and everything else is just I'm not as young as I appear to be to some people, but
exactly.
Yeah, man.
I remember there was 1 year I was sleeping at Juve, like on the road, walking. Because again, remember, I do everything with them.
Yeah.
I think it was that same year, the same amp year. By Juve, my energy was close to zero. I do everything with them, and when they're sleeping, I'm still working. Planning for the next thing and organizing drivers who probably by the time we get home 10 o'clock in the evening for a 2 o'clock pickup, they're already up trying to get to us. So like, hey, Ron, we're still on for 2 o'clock. They gotta coordinate that pickup. Get tickets organized. Make sure everybody understand what the lobby time is again, because I keep reminding them. If you get left, you know what I mean? So yeah.
Yeah, I don't envy that at all. Yeah. So before we go, just share your social media handles with everyone so they can come and follow you, because I know everybody's going to be like, oh, well, I'm going with him because he sounds like this is an official organizer and nothing's going to go wrong. So I know people are going to be in your inboxes. Everybody's just itching for that next carnival dose.
2020 question mark. Yeah, so it's LPTS Lifestyle on everything. You can find us. Just type in LPTS Lifestyle on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. It's the same thing. You'll find us. We're everywhere. And the website is lptslifestyle.co. Yes, just .co, not .com. I did that for a reason too. I want to see who's paying attention to the detail. If you go to lptslifestyle.com, you will not find us.
Page not found.
Pay attention to details.
But wait, before you go, talk about, you're doing a series, right? Where you are doing video conferences with certain individuals. Can you talk about that real quick?
Yeah, so it's called Limin with the Professionals. And one of the things I try to do is every year start thinking of ways that we could continue to evolve. So not this year. First, we sit on home so long, I know what year it is anymore. So 2020, one of the things I introduced for 2020 was the Buy Black initiative. And the Buy Black initiative is us offering a directory for Black-owned businesses, because we have so many within the crew. I wanted to expose them and kind of give more light to the business network side of LPTS. So I created the Buy Black initiative. It's an online directory, and you can go to lpts.co, not .com, and you click on Buy Black, and you will get access to the directory. It will show you it's not just people in the US, it's everybody in the LPTS network, and the network is global, that has their own business that is Black owned. The Limin with the Professionals vlog is kind of our way of exposing the people behind the businesses. And that started last month. So we bring in people who are business owners who are featured in the directory. So just Lime. And one of the things we try to make sure people understand, Lime doesn't mean just partying.
Right.
You hear me say that all the time. A Lime is not just a party. A Lime is where people connect. It could be in any way you connect. It could be a Lime in your house. We liming right now. This is a Lime, right? So it's called Limin with the Professionals. So you get to meet the people behind their own brand and the people that are part of my brand. Get to meet them one-on-one, have a Lime with them, and understand some of their personal challenges with starting their business, some of the personal things they had to overcome with starting their business, and just get to know the person themselves. So that's how that blog started.
Thank you. I'm on there too, you guys. I'm on the directory.
So you gotta come on now. You gotta come on.
I know.
Now that I come on this, you know what I mean? Share the wealth.
All right. I'm ready for it. All right, love. I'm not going to keep you any longer. Please go eat. But thank you. Any last words for the people before we end?
Just thank you for the opportunity to coming on to be interviewed by you and to kind of share a little bit about what we do. And I like the stuff that you're doing.
Thank you.
Promoting the Caribbean and all the stuff that we do. And I look forward to hosting you on Limin with the Professionals.
Thank you. I will be there. We will organize.
Liking what you hear? Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. Visit www.tingsnice.com.
So as promised, I'm here to talk about the various ways that you can conquer Trinidad Carnival, right? We're going to be hopeful that this becomes a thing again. The world's going to open back up safely and we'll be able to fete and carry on and be on the road. So a couple years ago, I made this infographic and did a blog post on the 5 ways to conquer Trinidad Carnival, in my opinion. So Team 1, I labeled Team I Don't Give a F. And basically, the people on Team 1, they stay in Trinidad for 2 weeks or more. They have tickets for damn near every fete, probably 2 to 3 a day, right? They plan to mash up Juve and ambush, both of them. Some people do either or. And then they go all out to play mass on Monday and Tuesday, right? They're paying masqueraders. They secure accommodations in all the lit hotels, so like the Hyatt and the Hilton and all of that. And then they make time to go to Maracas Beach, and then they always touch down in Tobago. Now, Team 2, I've labeled the selective fetes. Now, the people on Team 2 stay in Trinidad for about 7 to 10 days, and they have tickets to the quality fetes, right? They're not trying to go to everything, but they are trying to go to the top fetes, right? And they make a choice between Juve or ambush, and they might storm mass on Monday and Tuesday, right? Some of them might play mass, some of them might storm. Now, choosing lodging for them is based on what's practical. They also make time to go to Maracas, and then they avoid touching down in Tobago, right? They're not there for the relaxation in Bago. They're there for the pump. They're there for the experience, and they're out. So now let's move on to the people on Team 3, which I've labeled them as the roadheads. The people on Team 3 stay in Trinidad for 5 to 7 days. They arrive for the core weekend, which is basically either like the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday before Carnival Monday and Tuesday, you see. And they have tickets for probably 1 to 2 unicorn fetes. And unicorn fetes are fetes that are very hard to get tickets for, right? Those extremely popular fetes. They plan to mash up Juve. They plan to get on bad at ambush. They take Monday and Tuesday way too seriously. Like they in that. There's no question about that because they're roadheads, right? And they're the type, honestly, to secure low-cost lodging far in advance. And they might head out Tuesday night after the road or Wednesday morning. So that means they're not going to Tobago. So the people on Team 4, I labeled broken over, but I don't know that I like that term anymore. But I'll figure out a new one. But the people on Team 4 arrive on Thursday or Friday. So that's a total of like a 4-night stay minimum, right? Or maximum. They have tickets for the quality fetes, no more than 1 per day. They might storm Juve. They're not paying for an actual Juve package. And anytime that they hear someone say something about ambush, they're just like, I'm not going to that. And they usually plan to leave on Carnival Monday or Carnival Tuesday. And they secure free lodging with close friends and family in Trinidad. And they definitely avoid visiting maracas because why? They don't have time to go. If you're only there for 3-4 nights, where you going? And then last but not least is Team 5. Team 5 is titled, I Was There, damn it. So the people on Team 5 arrive before or after the core weekend crowd. They stay for a maximum of 4 nights and they visit Trinidad for specific events, and they may have a ticket for maybe 1 additional fete. They're not around for Juve or ambush. They stay far away from Trinidad on Carnival Monday and Tuesday. They enjoy quality lodging at a well-known hotel, but those prices probably are going to be reduced because, again, it's not in the height of Carnival. And then they experience Trinidad in an unrushed and under budget way. So I can say for myself that I have probably been all of those things. I think going for the first time to Trinidad, I had to do it. I had to go all out. And then every time that I went there after, it got calmer and calmer for me. And then I just stopped going to Trinidad during the core weekend and I started going for Bacchanal Road. My rationale behind this is I know my pockets, I know my wallet, and I love to experience other places. A lot of people who go to Trinidad, they only go to Trinidad and you don't see them exploring other carnivals. And there's nothing wrong with that, but that's just my preference. So I chose to still get the Trinidad experience. I don't need to be there for 2 weeks. I don't need to go to all the fetes. I just want to go to the fetes that I enjoy, that I truly like. I want to be able to, I'm there for the food, and just the atmosphere and the experience. So I don't need to stay there for 2 weeks to get that for myself. And then recently, the past 2 years, what I've been doing, well, clearly not this year, but for 2019 and 2020, I went to Bacchanal Road. For the time before that, I've gone to Trinidad for 4 days. And so again, I've done all of those things, but I think I definitely recommend doing the whole shebang in Trinidad and going full out for your first experience. Of course, just like Ron said, pacing yourself because you don't want to miss anything, right? So that's my 2 cents. I will put all the links to every Trinidad piece I have ever done in the show notes so that you can go back and live vicariously through me and get excited for the next Trinidad Carnival experience. Thanks for listening. Appreciate you. Stay safe. Peace.
You're tuned in to the Tingz Nice podcast. You know the frequency.